People think quantum shifting is some far-off, complicated, mysterious practice. But what if I told you it's the exact opposite? What if the reason most people never understand it is because it's so simple that the mind can't believe it could possibly work? The mind wants steps, formulas, and techniques to cling to. But the truth is, the more you chase complexity, the further you get from the reality shift that's already available to you. This is the paradox. The key to everything you've been searching for is hidden in plain sight. But because it doesn't look grand or difficult, people dismiss it and keep searching endlessly for the next method, the next secret. They think the universe is testing them with hardship, when really the universe is asking them to see the elegance in simplicity. And here's where it gets interesting. The more complicated you make shifting, the more you reinforce that it's out of reach. You build walls where there are none. You keep creating conditions, rituals, and rules that don't need to exist, and every time you do, you're stepping further away from what is already yours. That's why most people don't get it. They're looking for fireworks, when the shift is more like flipping a switch in a room that was always wired for light. The first trap that keeps people stuck is desire itself. Think about it. Every time you say, "I want," you're actually saying, "I don't have." Desire sounds harmless, even motivating, but in the quantum field, it broadcasts lack with perfect precision. You imagine the dream house, the partner, the financial freedom, and you feel excited for a moment, but underneath the excitement lives the whisper that says, "It's not here yet." That whisper is what the field reflects back to you. You keep reinforcing the very gap you're desperate to close. The more vividly you see the future, the more you remind yourself it's not your present. You're chasing shadows, running toward a horizon you never reach, because by wanting it, you keep pushing it forward. The irony is that the stronger the desire, the stronger the signal of separation. This is why so many people spend years visualizing, affirming, and forcing themselves to think positively, yet their reality hardly changes. They're vibrating at the frequency of yearning instead of the frequency of having, and the quantum field doesn't give you what you yearn for, it gives you what you embody. That's the fundamental misunderstanding. The energy of desire is always a step behind the energy of fulfillment. Desire says, someday. Fulfillment says, now. And until you flip that internal switch from chasing to being, you remain locked in the loop of wanting, no matter how hard you try. Instead of starting from a place of desire, the real shift begins when you move directly into the ending. Most people think they need to climb a ladder, one rung at a time, visualizing the next step and then the next, hoping that one day they'll reach the top. But in quantum shifting, there is no ladder. You don't climb, you step straight into the version of you that's already standing at the top. You begin with the ending and let everything else rearrange itself around that certainty. Imagine watching a movie where you already know how it finishes. You see the hero triumphant, the resolution complete, the ending secured. With that knowledge, every single scene before the ending feels different. You're no longer questioning if it will work out. You're simply watching how it unfolds. That's exactly how quantum shifting works. When you live from the end, you carry the calm confidence of inevitability. Doubt loses its grip because the outcome isn't a question mark anymore. It's already sealed. The only thing left is alignment with the reality you've already claimed. You stop asking, will it happen? And start knowing, it has happened. And that simple reversal changes everything, because the moment you embody the end, you broadcast a frequency of completion, not pursuit. The universe doesn't need to drag you toward what you want, it meets you where you already are. This is why effort is such a trap. From the time we're children, we're taught that working harder is the way to succeed. Push more, try more, hustle until you break through. But the harder you try in the quantum field, the more resistance you generate. Think about it. Effort is built on the belief that something isn't here yet, that you must push reality into existence. But the field doesn't respond to pressure, it responds to coherence. The people who shift realities effortlessly aren't the ones burning themselves out. They're the ones who have let go of forcing and stepped into allowing. They understand that effort actually amplifies separation. The more you push, the more you signal that what you want is outside of you. And the quantum mirror reflects that perfectly, keeping your outcome just beyond reach. The most magnetic people, the ones who seem to bend reality in their favor, often look calm, relaxed, and even detached. They don't strain, they don't chase, they don't force. They radiate an energy that says, "This is already mine," and because of that, it becomes theirs without struggle. True shifting isn't about stacking more rituals, affirmations, or hours of visualization. It's about dissolving the effort that screams, "Not yet." When you release the urge to push, you stop broadcasting lack and start broadcasting alignment. And in that state, the universe doesn't hesitate. It flows, rearranges, and delivers with a precision that effort could never achieve. The quantum field is like a flawless mirror, responding not to what you say or what you wish for, but to who you are being in each moment. You can affirm, "I am abundant," 1,000 times a day, but if underneath those words your energy still hums with doubt and lack, the field reflects lack right back to you. It doesn't interpret your words, it reflects your frequency. That's why some people seem to manifest effortlessly, while others spend years working at it with no results. The effortless ones aren't lucky, and they're not more spiritual. They simply understand that the field mirrors their state of completion, not their state of striving. If you embody wholeness, you'll see wholeness around you. If you carry the vibration of already having, reality folds itself around that coherence. But if you radiate absence, even in subtle ways, reality only knows to give you more absence. It's never personal. It's never punishing. The field isn't deciding if you're worthy, it's simply echoing what you continuously broadcast. Think about how precise this is. Every circumstance you're experiencing right now, every relationship, every financial state, every pattern of health, is a direct reflection of what you've consistently embodied. You don't get what you demand, you get what you are. That's the mirror. And here's where the real power comes in. At the quantum level, you're not bound to one single version of life. Every possible timeline of your existence already exists as potential. There is a version of you who is thriving, fulfilled, wealthy, loved, peaceful, and there are versions of you who aren't. They're all encoded into the field like infinite channels on a radio. When you shift, you're not creating something new from scratch. You're not building your dream brick by brick with effort. You're tuning your frequency and collapsing one of those already existing possibilities into your now. This is the observer's choice. Just like in quantum physics, where particles remain in a state of possibility until observed, your life remains in infinite potential until you consciously choose which version you're aligned with. The moment you step into a state of certainty, you collapse the wave into a particle. You collapse the dream into reality. The question is never, "Can I have this?" Because the version of you who already has it exists. The only question is, am I observing from that reality, or am I still observing from lack? And once you understand this, it's like holding the key to a door that was never locked. You realize there's nothing to chase, nothing to create, nothing to earn. There is only the choice to embody the frequency of the outcome you desire and to observe reality through that lens. The mirror then has no choice but to reflect it back, and the shift becomes inevitable. Visualization has become one of the most popular tools in manifestation circles, but the problem is that most people use it incorrectly. They sit down, close their eyes, and imagine what they want, as if it's a movie playing on a screen. They picture themselves outside of the scene, watching their future self living the dream life, but they never step into it, and that subtle difference makes all the difference. If you're watching your future like a film, you're still reinforcing separation. You're saying, "That's me someday." True quantum shifting isn't about pretending or daydreaming, it's about embodiment. It's not about imagining what it would feel like to finally get the thing you want. It's about embodying the version of yourself who already has it right now. Instead of seeing the dream house as a distant goal, you walk into it in your mind as though the keys are already in your hand. Instead of imagining what it would be like to find love, you allow yourself to feel what it's like to wake up every morning already in that relationship. You don't visualize to escape reality, you embody to anchor a new one. And when you embody, something powerful happens. You stop questioning. The nervous system calms because your body doesn't know the difference between imagination and reality. It responds to the signal you're sending. When you embody the end state, your thoughts shift, your choices shift, your actions shift, and reality begins bending to match the version of you that you've claimed. You're no longer hoping, you're no longer watching, you're no longer pretending. You are living it energetically, and that state collapses the timeline faster than any affirmation ever could. But embodiment alone isn't enough unless you pair it with surrender. And surrender is where most people fail, because the human mind hates the unknown. We're taught to control everything, to force outcomes, to plan every detail, and micromanage how things will unfold. But the quantum field doesn't work that way. The more you try to control the how and when, the more resistance you generate. Surrender isn't about giving up on your desires, it's about releasing the need to dictate their arrival. It's like planting a seed in the soil. You water it, you nurture it, but you don't dig it up every day to check if it's growing. You trust that nature knows exactly how to unfold it. The same goes for quantum shifting. When you embody the outcome and then release control, you leave space for the infinite intelligence of the field to do what it does best. You open the door for synchronicities, unexpected opportunities, chance meetings, and solutions you never could have planned. And here's the paradox: the less you cling, the faster it comes. When you stop strangling the outcome with your expectations, you stop blocking it. True surrender is energetic trust. It's saying, I already have it, so I don't need to chase it. That trust is magnetic. It signals to the field that you're aligned, that you're not grasping or begging, and in that state, the shift becomes effortless. Surrender is the doorway through which the impossible slips into your reality. It looks passive from the outside, but in truth, it's the most powerful move you can make, because it tells the field you are no longer waiting, you are aligned, and alignment is all the field has ever needed from you. How do you actually know when you've shifted? That's the question most people struggle with, because they expect flashing signs, immediate physical proof, or some dramatic, external event to tell them it worked. But the real evidence of a shift always comes before the physical confirmation. You know you've shifted not because you see the result in front of you, but because something inside you settles. Your nervous system relaxes in a way it never has before. The constant noise of doubt, the inner chatter that used to keep asking, "When is it coming?" goes quiet. You stop obsessing over timing because the outcome no longer feels uncertain. It feels inevitable. That shift in state is the true indicator, and once you feel it, the external world has no choice but to catch up. The irony is that the less you need proof, the faster the proof appears. Synchronicities start happening, little things at first. A conversation, a chance encounter, an opportunity you couldn't have planned, but these are not random. They're confirmations that the field is rearranging itself to match your new broadcast. Sometimes it arrives so seamlessly that it feels almost ordinary, as if it was always supposed to be this way, and that's exactly the point. Shifts don't crash into your life with fireworks. They integrate smoothly, because you've already been living them internally. By the time they show up externally, they feel natural, expected, even obvious. That's the beauty of it. You realize the gap between inner and outer was always an illusion. And when you finally see this clearly, life stops being a constant chase and starts being a continuous unfolding. Quantum shifting isn't about doing one practice or trick to get what you want. It's about stabilizing a new state of being so completely that it becomes your natural baseline. You're not waiting for the future anymore. You're inhabiting it in the present. Every day, you walk, think, and act as though your desired outcome is already here. And because of that, the world mirrors it back to you with uncanny precision. The reason most people never get it is because it seems too simple. They believe manifestation must require effort, rituals, and endless practices. So when they hear the truth that it's about being, not doing, they dismiss it. But simplicity is where the power lies. The field doesn't respond to how hard you work. It responds to how aligned you are. Once you see that alignment is everything, you stop exhausting yourself with external chasing and start pouring your energy into coherence, embodiment, and surrender. The moment you stop needing is the moment you start receiving. And that's the ultimate revelation. You were never meant to struggle your way into your dream reality. You were meant to remember that it already exists, and all you ever had to do was choose it, embody it, and allow it to unfold. That's why quantum shifting is so simple, and that's why most people never get it until the day they finally let go, align with the end, and realize the universe has been waiting for their coherence all along.